ちは、ジャパニーズアーモのミサです。Hey guys! So, do you know how to write cheap in Japanese? We say 安い for cheap, right? But if you want to write the word 安い, you write like this. 安い. And if you've learned kanji even a little bit, you might recognize this kanji. 女 which means woman. So why does the word cheap, 安い, have the kanji for woman? So maybe some women are offended, and I was offended too. When I was a kid, I was like, why do women have to be cheap? It's not fair. All humans should equally be cheap, or whatever. No one should be cheap. 誰も安くあってはいけません。So today I'm going to teach you some interesting origins of kanji and why some of the words have certain kanji that don't really make sense to a lot of people, including Japanese people. So even if you haven't started learning kanji, I hope this video will get you interested in learning kanji. So first, let's talk about the kanji onna, woman. So this kanji is pronounced like onna for kunyomi, the Japanese reading. I'm not really going to talk about the differences between the Japanese reading kunyomi and Chinese reading onyomi because I already made a video. Anyway, they say that this kanji was developed by looking at the shape of a woman. So the woman was sitting or kneeling, possibly with her arms crossed like this. So this kind of look like the kanji, right? Onna. And by the way, when you want to say woman, you shouldn't really say onna, but you should say onna no hito. Onna no hito. You want to add this hito, person. So you might think, why do I have to say woman person for calling a woman? Yeah, doesn't really make sense, right? Again, it's Japanese, but onna sounds quite rude, especially if you're talking about a specific woman. So if you're generalizing women, if you're talking about like biology, maybe it's fine because you're not really talking about a specific woman's body or anything. Generally, if you, for example, say onna ga iru, it could even sound like I have a lover. Of course, if you are trying to sound rude, like you really hate that woman, you can say ano onna, like that bitch, So for example, if I'm playing a game and I don't like a female character, I could say, この女ムカつく. This woman pisses me off. But generally, you want to say 女の人. Like if you want to say, let's ask that woman. Like あの女の人に聞こう. あの女の人に聞こう. So the origin of the kanji for woman is pretty simple, right? It's just the shape of woman. You could memorize this kanji thinking that this looks like a pregnant woman with the belly. You can just memorize it however you want. Now let's talk about the kanji cheap. 安い. So, なんで? Why? Alright? This is actually interesting, right? This kanji can mean cheap, especially as the adjective 安い. This kanji can also mean restful, peaceful, safe, and comfort. So those are good meanings, right? For example, the word for safe, we say 安全, or it's an adjective, so 安全な. So you see the same kanji is used. 安全. So you could, for example, say 日本は安全です. 日本は安全です. Japan is safe. And also there's this verb 安心する, which means to be relieved or to feel at ease. So you could, for example, say 安心した. Oh, I'm relieved. And if someone says 安心してください, then that means please don't worry. So please be relieved, please feel easy. Or you could say ご安心を. Then that sounds like rest assured. So now that you know that this kanji can also mean peaceful, safe, not just cheap, you can think that, women provide safety, comfort, women make you feel safe, that kind of stuff. But the actual origin is actually a bit different. This radical on the top is called ukammuri or ben, and it would be called the radical roof in English because it does illustrate the roof. But it's not just any kind of roof for this kanji. It is actually byo means mausoleum. So it's a building that houses tombs, right? So this kanji actually shows a woman, specifically a bride, inside the mausoleum. So in the past, a bride would go to her husband's ancestors' mausoleum and she gets accepted by the ancestors, and then finally she can live safely and peacefully. So yeah, it would have been nicer if the origin actually was like, a woman inside the house, caring for everyone. That shows peace and comfort, that would have been nice. But apparently it just means that the woman gets accepted by the dead people and she can feel safe. Yeah, I don't know if it's any better than women being cheap. Definitely better, but yeah, so that's why. Yeah, so at least, women are not cheap. But I still haven't explained why the kanji could also mean cheap, right? It's kind of obvious, but buying cheap things, or the better word would be affordable things, would be nicer than, buying things that you can't afford and you go broke, so you feel more at ease buying cheap things. That's why the kanji could also mean cheap. Yeah. Alright, now I want to talk about the kanji blood. So this story is not going to be some fun fairy tale, Tinkerbell stuff either. Before you learn this kanji blood, chi, you might learn the kanji for plate or dish, which is sara, sara. So they very, very similar, right? It's because the kanji for blood was actually created from the kanji plate. Anyway, sara, you can for example say sara o arau to mean to wash dishes. We also often put the honorific prefix o in front of sara and say osara, osara. That's very common too. So instead of sara o arau, we also say osara o arau. Anyway, this is the kanji for plate, sara, right? And you had this stroke, then that means blood. It is because it's human's blood. Yeah, it's humans. How scary is that? It's because they say that in ancient China, they used to offer human sacrifice to a god. So, it didn't just happen in China. But because the kanji was developed in China, Japanese people borrowed kanji from China after all. So, it's kind of scary to think that it's actually human, or at least human blood on the plate, right? So, yeah. 神様に人間を生贄として捧げていたからです。怖いですね。So, after hearing this gruesome story, you might want more gruesome story? I don't know, once you start watching horror shows, you just want to keep watching more horror shows, right? Anyway, next one is not really scary, but at first you might think, wait, what? So, do you know the word 親切? 親切. And it can be a noun like kindness, but it can also be an adjective, 親切な, like 親切な人. That would mean kind person. So 親切, kindness, 親切な, kind. And if you already know these kanji, you might be like, It's because the first kanji means parents, and the second kanji means to cut. So wait, cutting your own parents is a kind thing. I don't want to learn kanji anymore, right? Yeah, it's scary. But don't worry, this etymology won't be scary. The second kanji does mean to cut, like kiru is how we say to cut. Kiru, right? But this kanji can also mean very or extremely. Generally, this kanji can mean like you feel it deeply, seriously. Like there is a word setsunai, which we use a lot when we watch like sad films or hear really sad stories. It's actually a very beautiful word. I really like it. It's not like as simple as kanashi, sad. So kanashi means sad, right? But setsunai, that's you feel sad, you feel pain, you feel lonely, or you find something lonely and it's just painful. And there is also this adverb setsujitsu ni, and that means truly or seriously. Like it's basically just like 本当に. 切実に sounds more formal than 本当に, so you definitely would hear 本当に more. But 切実 is also a good word. So the kanji to cut, 切る, is also often used when you talk about feeling something deeply. Like you have strong emotions towards something, and it can mean very, right? So you know that it means very instead of cut, right? Cutting parents. But it still doesn't make sense to think that being kind means you are very much of a parent. I mean, I guess it does make sense. But anyway, that kanji doesn't just mean parents. Oya does mean parent or parents, but there's also this adjective, 親しい, 親しい, which means to be close, as in you're close to somebody, not like, oh, Japan and Korea are close. Like you could say 親しい友達 to mean close friend. And if you actually get rid of the hiragana part and say 親友, well, the reading is completely different, but 親友, then that means best friend. And it's the same kanji, right? So when you want to talk about your best friend, you definitely use the word 親友, 親友. So you could, for example, say 今日親友と遊んだ. I hang out with my best friend today. Yeah, so 親切 doesn't mean cutting your own parents, but it just means you're very close to somebody, you're very familiar with somebody. So it kind of makes sense. You want to be kind to someone close, right? So now you might be thinking, what's the difference between 優しい and 親切な? They both mean kind, right? But when you say 親切な人, you usually imagine someone who would help you. So that's the sort of person who would be willing to do something for you. It could be something that you might not find kind. So maybe even your parents are scolding you, but it comes from love. For example, they're telling you to stop doing something because they don't want you to get hurt. So they're actually being kind. And that's the sort of thing you could say 親切. Generally, when someone says 親切, you do find that nice. I'm not that short, but I'm kind of short, so I can't reach something like a book, on the top shelf when I go to a bookstore. And if somebody helps me, I would think that's 親切. Like, 親切な人が手伝ってくれた. A kind person helped me. But 優しい人 would also do that, right? But 優しい人 could mean someone who has a kind heart. So maybe that person is very shy and, maybe doesn't really interact with people. So maybe people don't know that that person is kind, but he or she could be always thinking about others. They don't want to hurt anybody. If they see an animal injured, they would want to help. That can be 優しい, but not really 親切. So generally parents tell their kids to be a kind person, right? They'd say 優しい人になって. 優しい人になって. They don't really say 親切な人になって. although being 親切 is definitely a good thing. なんか親切になることは本当にいいことです。けど、優しい人になってって親はよく言います。心が優しい人。So, this actually turned out to be a quite nice story, right? Alright, the next one is quite interesting. So, tofu. I love tofu. 豆腐が大好きです。本当に豆腐が大好き。で、豆腐っていう漢字を見てください。Please take a look at the kanji for tofu. The first kanji means beans. Okay, that makes sense. Because tofu is made of soybeans, right? So, yeah, alright, that's bean. Fine. Beans, by the way, we say mame. If you have watched Full Metal Alchemist, Ed is called Mametsubu Dochibi because he's quite short, right? Anyway, mame is beans. And then the second kanji, when a Japanese person looks at the kanji, they would go, oh, that's not good, because it means rotten. So, of course I knew what tofu was, but when I saw the package of tofu at the supermarket, I was really scared because, wait, have I been eating rotten beans my whole life? I was really worried because my mom always told me not to eat something that has gone bad. So I was like, should I really be eating rotten beans? But again, we borrowed these kanji from Chinese. In Chinese, it does also mean rot, but it can also refer to something that's close to liquid. So it's not liquid, but something that's close to liquid. In Chinese, the same kanji is apparently used for the word yogurt. We just say yogurto because why bother come up with something new? But yeah, so tofu is quite bouncy and it's not really hard, and you can tell that it has lots of water, right? So yeah, apparently that's why. So apparently it's not rotten beans. Alright, before we end this video, I want to show you a few more kanji with interesting origins. So often kanji was developed by looking at the shape of something, like the kanji for woman, right? But they also developed some kanji because of the sound. So for example, mosquito, we say ka, and the kanji for mosquito is this thing, ka. And the radical on the left means insect or bug. So it makes sense, right? It is an insect. So this radical is called mushihen. And I actually want to talk about another word that has this mushihen and is interesting. Sorry, before I talk about the mosquito, I really want to talk about this just quickly. The kanji for rainbow we say niji, also has this radical mushihen. And you might think, why, right? So the rainbow is not an insect. 虹は虫じゃないね. But because it kind of looks like a snake or dragon, they just put the radical for the insect. Yeah, snakes aren't insects, they are reptiles. But this kanji was also used for reptiles before. Alright, that's it. Alright, now back to mosquito. So ka, right? So the left radical makes sense. What about the right part? The right one is also a very common kanji. And that means sentence, usually. Like 文を書く. Then that means I write a sentence. Or he say 英語の文. And that means a sentence in English. 日本語の文. A sentence in Japanese. And the important thing is that this kanji is pronounced like 文, right? And the interesting thing is mosquito has nothing to do with a sentence, but has so much to do with the sound 文. Japanese people hear boom, 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 boom. That annoying sound. 本当にイライラする. So mosquitoes make that boom, 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 boom noise. That's why the kanji with the sound 文 is there. Interesting, right? 面白いよね. And there are a few more kanji that does the same thing. The kanji for pigeon looks like this. And pigeon we say hato, hato. So if you look at the right radical, that's the kanji for bird, tori, tori. Makes sense, right? Pigeon is a bird. And if you take a look at the left part, that's the kanji for 9, 9, right? So 9 birds, right? It's again because of the sound that pigeons make. We don't exactly hear coo coo coo, but we hear coo coo coo. So the kanji for 9 can be pronounced like coo or ku. So because we think pigeons go coo 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 coo, we put the kanji that has the sound ku. There are actually quite a few kanji that can sound like that, but for some reason, they chose 9. That's also very interesting, I think. It's not because there are 9 pigeons in the world. 鳩は世界に9羽しかいません。Alright, that's it. This was kind of a different lesson from the usual ones, but I hope you still found this interesting. Etymology is actually something that I'm very passionate about, so I always want to talk about this kind of stuff. So yeah, I think I'm going to make another video about etymology. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked it, please give a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe to this channel. And if you could support me on Patreon, I would forever be grateful. Thank you so much. ありがとうございます。じゃあまたね。バイバイ。